Unlike your traditional desktop towers, the best all-in-one PCs have the displays built into the chassis of the computer. You'll often find a mix of desktop and laptop components in an all-in-one PC, and while that does make it harder to upgrade, there are certainly advantages to this approach. In this video, we're going to be checking out the top 5 best all-in-one PCs in the market today. You can find links to the products in the description. If you've got another product in mind that you would like us to review, please comment down below. We'll look into it as soon as possible and let you know how it compares to the items listed in this roundup. So without further ado, let's get started with the list. Number 5. iMac 27-inch 2019. The 27-inch Apple iMac's 5K display remains a gorgeous standout feature, and if you need top-notch performance, the high-end CPU and GPU options are justifiable extras. We only wish every buyer got to enjoy a responsive iMac with an SSD. This new iMac has a 9th generation Intel Coffee Lake Research processor, up to an AMD Radeon Pro Vega 48 graphics, plus superfast 512GB SSD, rather than the typical hybrid SSHD in previous iMacs. However, if you put the iMac 2019 alongside the 2017 model, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference without turning it on. It's the same tapered body design Apple has been using with the iMac since late 2012, the longest it's stuck with any particular look for the all-in-one, if you ignore minor changes to port selection and keyboards. Number 4. HP Envy Curved All-in-One. An all-in-one computer often feels like the sensible choice, combining a PC and a monitor to reduce clutter. But why can't these computers be just that little bit crazy and more attention-grabbing? HP certainly thinks they can, and its Envy 34 Curved All-in-One demonstrates. As the name gives away, this all-in-one has a massive 34-inch curved display, making it immediately different to everything else I've seen. Big it may be, but the Envy 34 is also rather attractive and grabbed my attention for all of the right reasons. The size of the screen is something of a boon for design, and it gives HP a bit more room to play with. This is a far cry from HP's previous attempt at a curved all-in-one. It's thoroughly grown-up, stylish, and would fit into any office or home environment. Rather than a basic stand, as with most all-in-ones, HP's stand contains all of the computer's components. But it looks like a TV sound base. It's not just design, as it really is a sound base, as the Bang & Olufsen branding attests. Cleverly, the base has a QI wireless charging spot that lets you top up a compatible phone, including the Samsung Galaxy S7, S8, and LG G6, just by sitting it on the left-hand side of the stand. Number 3. Dell XPS 27 AIO. With its 27-inch display, the XPS 27 is rather an imposing all-in-one, measuring 435 x 625 x 80 mm. Like the iMac, it has a large chin at the bottom, although in this case it isn't just dead space but houses 6 speakers in the glossy black frame. The result is a computer that looks refreshingly different to the composition and fantastic in its own right. Certainly, this is an all-in-one that's been built to garner attention, and I'd proudly have it sat on my desk. A common complaint with all-in-ones is that they often have inflexible stands, but this isn't the case with the XPS 27. Thanks to the adjustable hinge mechanism, you can move the screen anywhere between face-on to flat on the desk. Getting the screen lined up comfortably is easy, and the maneuverability makes the touchscreen much easier to use, as you don't have to lean awkwardly across the desk to prod at the screen. The minor downside is that the full metal stand to cope with this movement adds to the weight, with the touchscreen model of the XPS 27 weighing in at a hefty 17.3 kg. Still, it's unlikely that you'll be shifting the position of the machine much once it's in place. One of the main bugbears of the Trusted Reviews team is that the ports of all-in-ones are usually shoved at the rear, where they're hard to get to. Having to spin a computer around to plug in a USB drive is frankly annoying. Hats off to Dell, Then for building the XPS27 with thick enough size to include a USB 3.0 port, a 3.5mm audio jack, and an SD card reader. Number 2. iMac Pro. The iMac Pro is a powerful professional all-in-one that certainly won't be for everyone. It has oodles of power and a huge price tag to match. However, if the iMac Pro is suited for your needs, then you won't be disappointed. As you might have already guessed based on its name, the iMac Pro is a sleek and beautiful all-in-one PC that packs a lot of power in the traditional iMac form factor. Don't judge this behemoth by its cover. The iMac Pro absolutely demolishes the iMac 2017 and even the new iMac 2019 thanks to the super PC components and features it has on hand. The iMac Pro is a particularly powerful machine crafted specifically for creatives and professionals. And it isn't just about sheer horsepower for its own sake. This all-in-one workstation is a finely tuned machine touting powerful hardware that revolutionizes your workflow. The iMac Pro is very expensive, and most users won't need that much power, especially if they practically have to rob a bank to do it. However, if you are desperate to save some time on every single one of your projects, the iMac Pro will pay for itself in the long run. Time is money, after all. Number 1. Surface Studio 2. Still the most robust digital drafting table around, Surface Studio 2 wasn't meant to compare well against most computers. For the digital artist or other visually focused content creators, Surface Studio 2 will be the one to beat, dated parts and all. The Surface Studio 2 has finally arrived, enhancing the original in pretty much every way. Now, these upgrades may not be on par with a lot of today's professional all-in-one PCs, but they certainly do wonders for the Surface Studio 2's core use case. The components in the OG all-in-one haven't aged gracefully, but the Surface Studio 2 should last for years to come. However, if you're new to Microsoft's Surface world, you should make sure the Surface Studio 2 is the right device for you, and it might not be if you're not a digital media artist, before breaking open the piggy bank for this good-looking digital work table for artists.